Hey there. So in today's video, we're going to talk about the psychology of money. I'm going to talk about 10 important lessons that I personally have learned from this book. And I think these are the 10 major lessons that everyone should learn. So let's get right into the video. So the first chapter of this book talks about no one is crazy. Now what the author means by that is सबकी financial journey and knowledge अलग होता है and सबके financial experiences अलग होते हैं. For example, someone who was born in the 1970s decides to invest in the stock market, तो उसका investment हो सकता है कि 10 times से ज़्यादा increase हो गया हो in the last 20 years. But for someone who started investing in the 1950s, उसकी जो growth की journey है वो completely अलग हो सकती है. Like the person who invested in the 1970s saw a greater return in a short span of time, whereas someone who started investing in the 1950s saw very steady growth. So these two groups of people will have very contrasting ideologies about investing and about their financial journey. People born in the 1970s would be more likely to invest in stock market as compared to someone who's born in the 1950s. Similarly, someone who is born poor will consider risk and reward in a different manner as compared to someone who's born a millionaire. So दोनों का financial जो experience रहा है वो अलग रहा है and that is why they will have different experiences when it comes to investing as well. So no one is crazy, everyone is doing what they know best. Now the second lesson that this book teaches is that we cannot underestimate luck. So if someone is trying to achieve something and working towards a goal, then the result will be a mixture of their skill, hard work and luck. Luck is an important part of anyone's success and we cannot underestimate that. Morgan Housel ने example दिया है Bill Gates का कि even though he was very intelligent and he was skilled, but उनका luck भी था जिसकी वजह से वो एक ऐसी स्कूल में उन्होंने एडमिशन लिया यूएस में जहाँ पे कंप्यूटर अवेलेबल था या कंप्यूटर का एक्सेस अवेलेबल था and not many kids got that and that is how it got started him with coding and gradually he built Microsoft as we all know. So the point is that skill, hard work and luck is something that brings you success and we cannot underestimate the importance of luck. But of course, another lesson to be learned here is that hard work increases the surface area of luck. Now, I was watching a video by Ankur Warikoo where he was talking about, sending cold emails to people. So when you are, trying to reach someone जिससे कि आपने कभी बात नहीं की है ना आपको शायद उनके साथ कुछ collaboration करना है या something to have something related to your business that you want to propose to someone, then in that case आप हजारों cold emails लिखोगे तो जरूरी नहीं आपको कि हजारों पे रिप्लाई आएगा, बट उस 1000 में अगर आपको 5 रिप्लाईज भी आ गए तो शायद आपका जो बिजनेस आइडिया है या आपका जो भी गोल था उस ईमेल को भेजने का वो शायद सक्सेसफुल हो जाएगा. सो इट्स बेसिकली यू वर्कड हार्ड बाय सेंडिंग आउट दोस कोल्ड ईमेल्स व्हिच increased your chances of luck. Now the third and very interesting thing that I learned from this book is that we must never underestimate the magic of compounding. Now I often listen to the people around me who invest in the stock market and दो टाइप के लोग होते हैं, एक जो लॉन्ग टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं, एक होते हैं जो शॉर्ट टर्म इन्वेस्टमेंट करते हैं. जैसे ही मार्केट डाउन होता है, they start selling off their stock and buying new ones, but there are some people who leave their stocks for the long term. In this regard, Morgan Housel ने इसको समझाने के लिए वॉरेन बफेट का एग्जाम्पल लिया है and I will quote exactly what he has written in the book. He says that more than 2000 books are dedicated to how Warren Buffett built his fortune. Many of them are wonderful, but few pay attention to the simplest fact. That is, Buffett's fortune isn't due to just being a good investor, but being a good investor since he was literally a child. So when the book was written, Warren Buffett's net worth was $84.5 billion. Of that, $84.2 billion was accumulated after his 50th birthday, of which $81.5 billion came after his mid-60s. The author writes that Warren Buffett is a phenomenal investor, but you miss a key point if you attach all of his success to investing acumen. The real key to his success is that he's been a phenomenal investor for 3/4 of a century. Had he started investing in his 30s and retired in his 60s, few people would have heard of him. So basically he talks about, the power of compounding, कि जितने long time तक आप invest करो, that also plays a very crucial role in how successful you are as an investor. Now the fourth interesting learning from this book is that we must learn when to stop. We must learn to say this is enough. काफी बार हमारे aspirations and goals इतने ज्यादा होते हैं कि हम एक जगह पहुंच जाते हैं तो फिर हमें और चाहिए होता है, फिर हम दूसरी जगह पहुंच जाते हैं हमें और चाहिए होता है. So we don't have a end point in our life. Like हमारा जो lifestyle है वो भी उस तरह से expand होता जाता है and that sometimes leads us to making the wrong decisions. But if you sit and think of it and if you basically write down all the things that you want in your life, like आपकी लाइफ में आपको जितनी भी चीजें चाहिए, सारी luxuries, आप अगर आज बैठ के ये पेपर पे लिख लिखो एंड यू राइट द कॉस्ट ऑफ ऑल द थिंग्स एंड सारी चीजों का अगर आप एड अप करोगे ना तो आपको लगेगा कि इतना छोटा अमाउंट है, क्योंकि आपको लगता है कि शायद आपको पता नहीं कितने मिलियन बिलियन डॉलर्स चाहिए होंगे एक सक्सेसफुल इंसान बनने के लिए या फाइनेंशियली फ्री होने के लिए. बट द ट्रूथ इज दैट यू डोंट नीड सो मच मनी एंड वी शुड नो व्हेन टू से दैट दिस इज इनफ एंड दिस इज गुड फॉर मी, आई कैन लिव विद दिस मच. इस पॉइंट को समझाने के लिए मॉर्गन ने एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग लाइन बोली है, वो ये है, देयर इज नो रीजन टू रिस्क व्हाट यू हैव एंड नीड फॉर व्हाट यू डोंट हैव एंड डोंट नीड. सो कोई ऐसी चीज जो आपके पास अभी है एंड जो आपकी जरूरत है उस चीज को छोड़ के कोई ऐसी चीज के पीछे भागना जिस चीज की आपको जरूरत नहीं है एंड जो चीज आपके पास अभी है नहीं, दैट डजंट मेक सेंस, राइट? नाउ द फिफ्थ लेसन दैट आई हैव लर्न फ्रॉम दिस बुक इज अगेन वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग एंड शायद आप में से कुछ लोगों ने इसके बारे में सुना होगा, मैन इन द कार पैराडॉक्स. मैंने ये बुक पढ़ने से बहुत पहले इसके बारे में सुन लिया था एंड आई वाज क्यूरियस कि ये कहाँ पे बोला गया है. देन आई रियली वांटेड टू रीड दिस बुक. सो बेसिकली मैन इन द कार पैराडॉक्स मीन्स दैट whenever you see someone in a fancy car or in a fancy house or living a fancy lifestyle, so the person who is living that lifestyle often feels that जब लोग मुझे देख रहे हैं इस lifestyle को जीते हुए तो मुझे बहुत अच्छा समझ रहे हैं और they're respecting me a lot and they think that I am something. But the truth is that जो भी इंसान देखता है जिसके पास वो चीज नहीं है, वो जब ऐसे इंसान को देखता है जिसके पास ये सब है तो वो काफी बार वो इंसान को नहीं अप्रिशिएट करता, बट वो ये इमेजिन करता है कि अगर मैं उस जगह पे होता तो मैं कैसा फील करता. Morgan writes to his son saying that you might think you want an expensive car or a fancy watch or a huge house, but I'm telling you, you don't. What you want is respect and admiration from other people, and you think having expensive stuff will bring it. It almost never does, especially from the people you want to respect and admire you. He also says that true wealth is actually the money not spent. So I'll leave it at that. Now the sixth lesson that I learned from this book is that save money and money will save you. This was a very interesting learning for me personally as well because मैंने खुद भी savings को ज़्यादा seriously नहीं लिया था in the initial years of my life. Like initially when I started earning, but like after MBA when my salary like increased a bit and there was scope to save, then I started thinking about saving. But then also I think it took me a long time to actually start investing properly. Morgan in the book says that even though you do not have a specific reason to save, building wealth has little to do with your income and investment, but it has more to do with your savings rate. Also, अक्सर हम savings को income minus expenses समझते हैं. हमें लगता है कि हमारा जो income है minus जो हमारे expenses है वो हमारी savings है. But ideally it should be income minus ego. बहुत सारी चीजें हम खरीदते हैं ऐसी जो कि हमें जरूरत नहीं होती है, हम बस इसीलिए खरीदते हैं क्योंकि हमें लगता है कि हमारा एक status है and we have to maintain that, and for that we keep buying things. So honestly, our savings is the only thing that we can actually control because जो हमारा income है उसको हम काफी बार कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते. हमारा जो इन्वेस्टमेंट है उसको भी हम काफी बार कंट्रोल नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि मार्केट फ्लक्चुएशन जैसे होंगे उस हिसाब से हमारे इन्वेस्टमेंट्स बढ़ेंगे या घटेंगे. बट जो हम कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं वो है हमारा सेविंग्स. अगेन मॉर्गन हाउसल ने एक बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग बात बोली, वो ये है, लॉट ऑफ द पीपल आर टायर्ड ऑफ देयर जॉब्स दे डोंट एंजॉय बिकॉज दे हैव अ लाइफस्टाइल दैट रिक्वायर्स देम टू हैव अ हाई इनकम टू मेंटेन देयर लाइफस्टाइल. बेसिकली दिस मीन्स दैट लोग अपना बोरिंग जॉब इसीलिए कर रहे हैं इवन दो दे नॉट लाइकिंग इट just because they have to maintain a high lifestyle and for that they need high income. But if we increase our savings, we can actually create freedom for ourselves. Now the seventh learning is related to the previous one, that is use your money to buy freedom. So Morgan Housel says that money's greatest intrinsic value, and this can't be overstated, is its ability to give you control over your time. Using your money to buy time and options has a lifestyle benefit few luxury goods can compete with. One can always make more money but you can't make more time. So जो लोग अपने जितनी जरूरतें हैं उससे कम में जो लोग सस्टेन करना सीख जाते हैं उनकी लाइफ बहुत ज्यादा फ्री होती है as compared to people who are constantly trying to earn more and upgrade their life more with every passing day. Now the eighth point is again very interesting. It talks about getting wealthy versus staying wealthy. A lot of the people get wealthy but then they don't know how to stay wealthy. So as per reports, people in the US on an average spend $400 on a lottery ticket जिसका कि उनको गारंटी भी नहीं है कि उसका कुछ निकलेगा कि नहीं निकलेगा. They don't spend so much money on themselves but they spend that money to buy lottery tickets just in the hope that they might click and they might become wealthy. Most of these people who become rich by getting lotteries often come back to their original wealth status because they're not able to maintain that wealth that they have gained. So the author says that getting money requires taking risks, being optimistic, and putting yourself out there. But keeping money requires the opposite of taking risk. It requires humility and fear that what you have made can be taken away from you just as fast. Also, true wealth is often hidden from the view. बहुत लोग हैं जो बहुत simple lifestyle जीते हैं. Consider Mark Zuckerberg, consider Sundar Pichai. You'll see them living a very simple lifestyle, but we all know that they have a lot of wealth behind them. So whatever you see in front of you, it's not necessarily the wealth of a person. जो समझदार लोग होते हैं, जो wise लोग होते हैं, who have learned the concepts of money, or who know how to invest their money in the right places, know that जो दिखाने वाली चीज होती है उसमें invest करने से अच्छा it's better to invest your money in the things that are not visible to others, because that is actually your savings and that is what gives you long-term benefits. So people can often appear wealthy and be financially insecure, whereas some people will not appear wealthy but they will be very financially secure. So the author says that spending money to show people how much money you have is the fastest way to make less money. So काफी लोगों में ये mentality है कि जितना आप दिखा रहे हो that means you are that rich, and that is why many people are these days buying iPhones on loan, people are buying MacBooks on loan just because उनको लगता है कि अगर मेरे पास ये चीजें होगी तो मेरा एक status symbol होगा. Now let's move to point number 9. Leave room for error. For example, if today I decide to quit my job and pursue my hobby or YouTubing full time, I want to be a full time YouTuber. So इसके लिए मैं अपना जॉब छोड़ के 2 साल की सेविंग्स मैंने कर ली है. मुझे लगता है कि मैं 2 साल तक सस्टेन कर सकती हूँ विदाउट एनी इनकम. उसके बाद आई एम डूइंग यूट्यूब, बट ओवर टाइम व्हाट आई एम रियलाइजिंग इज दैट मेरा जो इनकम है वो कुछ आ नहीं रहा है. इनफैक्ट मेरी जो सेविंग्स मैंने की थी वो निकलते जा रही है. एंड हो सकता है एक पॉइंट ऐसा आएगा जहाँ पे मेरी 50% सेविंग्स निकल चुकी है बट मेरा कोई इनकम इतना ज्यादा बिल्ड हुआ नहीं है. सो एट दैट पॉइंट आई माइट गेट वेरी स्ट्रेस्ड, नॉट ओनली फाइनेंशियली बट ऑल्सो इमोशनली, क्योंकि मैंने जो प्लान किया था कि मैं 2 साल में वो रिकवर कर लूंगी, gain more than what I was earning and blah blah, but I was not able to do that. So it caused me a lot of emotional stress. So to avoid that, we should always consider some room for error. जब भी हम कोई डिसीजन लेते हैं फाइनेंशियल, तो एक थोड़ा हमें वो रूम फॉर एरर छोड़ देना चाहिए कि हो सकता है कि चीजें हमारे हिसाब से ना चले, एंड इन दैट केस I should be ready and planned, or you can have a backup plan or something like that. But basically emotionally you should be prepared and you should create some room for error in your financial planning. So the 10th and the last takeaway from this book is that avoid extreme financial decisions for your future self. क्या होता है, काफी बार हमें लगता है कि हम 10 साल बाद हमारा ये रहेगा, डिसीजन रहेगा, तो उसके बेसिस पे हम कुछ प्लानिंग कर लेते हैं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, टुडे आई प्लान दैट इन फ्यूचर आई एम नेवर गोना बाय अ हाउस. सो ये सोच के मैं अभी पूरा स्पेंडिंग करने लग जाऊँ बहुत ज्यादा. आई कैन स्पेंड नाइसली बिकॉज आई डोंट हैव टू बाय अ हाउस इन द फ्यूचर. सिमिलरली मैं ऐसा सोच सकती हूँ कि मे बी आई डोंट वांट टू हैव किड्स इन फ्यूचर, सो मेरी वो लायबिलिटी वो नहीं है मेरी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, सो आई कैन spend a lot. But ये मेरा अभी का डिसीजन है. बट पीपल, the thing that the author tries to highlight in the book is that you don't know how you are going to evolve in the next 10 years or 5 years. तुमको पता नहीं है कि तुम आगे जाके, हो सकता है तुम्हारा थॉट प्रोसेस चेंज हो जाए, हो सकता है तुम्हारा एक घर लेने का मन करे, हो सकता है you might want to have kids. So in that case you should not take extreme financial decisions, मतलब अपना पूरा पैसा खर्च कर देना या कुछ सेविंग्स नहीं रखना. ऐसे डिसीजन नहीं लेने चाहिए because our thought process changes over time. So those were all the things that I learned from this extremely nice book called The Psychology of Money. And काफी टाइम हो गया पढ़े हुए, actually 1-2 महीना हो गया, and मैं बहुत टाइम से सोच रही थी बनाने का, but I was not getting time. So there are a couple more things, but these were the top 10 things that I really wanted to share with you, and I hope these are useful, and if it is, please let me know in the comment section down below. And yeah, so on that note, I'll end this one here. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please make sure to hit a like on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to my channel, and also while subscribing, don't forget to hit that bell icon so that you will know when I put up my next video. And I will see you again in my next one. Till then, bye bye, take care.